So once you're done with the makeup and your actor is done, they've finished their entire day on set and you're ready to go home, it is very important that you remove the makeup for the actor. Not only because it is courteous to do that, but also some of these materials that you put on them, they may not have the proper removal at home that they would with what you have in your kit. So taking the time to actually remove the makeup for the actor is very important, and it also is going to help you in the long run. If you think about it, things can go, they can damage themselves a lot if they just rip things off of themselves, and then they're gonna come back angry the next day. It's just a good method of practice all around to remove for the actor. So one of the things we use quite frequent to remove everything, right here is a product called Telesis Super Solve. So Telesis Super Solve will dissolve all of the stuff that you see on here. It will break down the cream makeup, it will break down the alcohol activated makeup, and it will eventually break down those prosate transfers. Now, the only difference between just taking a cotton pad and soaking it with the remover, soaking on there and slowly working your way out, for the prosate transfers and the latex, you have to kind of lift an edge up. You kind of roll it onto itself slightly, get a little bit of that remover and put it underneath the prosthetic and slowly work your way out. It just needs a little bit of an edge to be lifted up so you can start the removal process. So for example, if we're going to remove the bruise, taking a sponge and a little bit of our Telesis Super Solve, you can hold right here on the bruise and just slowly remove. You see how easy that comes off. That's a cream-based makeup. That is about the easiest one that you're going to have to remove. It breaks down very easily. At the end of the day too, what will break down a lot of makeup is anything with an oil base. So even if you have a coconut oil or something on hand, if you don't have a fancy remover, you can take a coconut oil and it will help to break that product down for you. Similarly, for the next bruise, close your eyes for me. We hold on top of here, start to pull. You see how quickly this breaks down. It is important and it is your responsibility as a professional makeup artist to do the removal for the actor as well. So when you're practicing at home, you can use the coconut oils, things like that in a pinch if you really need to. But when you're working as a professional and you're working on someone else, just make sure that you have everything that you need. When you go around to here, same thing. Hold this Super Solve on here, start pulling. Now some of the blood and other things may take a minute longer to remove. You may need to hold it in there so it saturates a bit before you actually start moving. But it will eventually start to break down and you'll be able to remove the full look. It's also better, in my opinion, to use a sponge for the removal versus a cotton pad, as it is much more delicate to the skin. When you're working with these materials, we've already put alcohol on his skin. We've already done things that are drying the skin out and that they're making the skin a little bit irritated naturally. So having something like this that's more gentle than a cotton pad that can exfoliate a bit is going to be nicer for the actor. Now, when you get to the prostate transfers over here, you kind of just need to lift it a bit. Once you have this little bit of an edge up with a Q-tip, you can wiggle this underneath. If you don't do this little lifting technique and the wiggle with the product underneath, it'll take you 5 hours to try and break this piece down. But this is a fairly quick process. Just working slowly as well. The last thing you want to do is rip something on the actor, because then you do also run the risk of damaging their skin from ripping. You also don't want to rip the hair out of anyone. Latex especially, and other adhesives can kind of work as a wax. So if you've ever had your eyebrows waxed or your legs waxed or had any sort of wax rip hair out of your skin, imagine that happening when you're not expecting it. You don't want that to happen. Latex especially, you do need to be very delicate with, as any hair that it touches, it will remove. Just keep taking your time, working your way down. And eventually, it will lightly pull away from the skin without any damage. Removal can take quite some time. Sometimes the removal may take just as much time as the application of the makeup, and that's okay. It's better to go slowly and be safe with the removal than to rush through it and damage the actor. So now that you've seen how to properly remove a piece, we're going to go ahead and continue with the rest of them and finish them all in the same way.